welcome back from dear viewers as we continue this edition of Nile Cruise from inside the great Al-Azhar Mosque in the heart of the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Well, Egypt had many great events in Ramadan, and its deep-rooted history is fraught with memorable days, and one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable of all, was the 10th of Ramadan, the one that stands out so lofty as Egypt's most unforgettable, most valuable and influential. Thus, Egypt will continue to celebrate the anniversary of the 10th of Ramadan, or the 6th of October war victory, through which the 1967 setback was rectified, the honor and dignity of the nation regained, and the Egyptian armed forces were crowned with laurel. And to know more about the impact of this victory in rebuilding the Egyptian character, we are honored to host with us Dr. Ahmed Farrag, Islamic Studies researcher. Dr. Farrag, thank you for joining us on Nile TV International. Happy Ramadan.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank the Nile TV channel and all the teamwork for hosting me in this distinguished episode at that great place, Al-Azhar Mosque in Greater Cairo. Actually, one of the most important events that took place in Ramadan is the triumph of 10th of Ramadan, or October War 1973. This war was launched for the sake of liberating the lands, and not for the sake of aggression or occupying the lands of other people. And this is the doctrine of the brave Egyptian army. The brave Egyptian army is always defending the higher interest of the country and maintain its borders and secure its strategic goals. Actually, if we compare between the phase before liberating the lands, I mean while preparing to launch the war, and after achieving the victory and restoring and gaining our occupied lands, the Egyptian man and the Egyptian people were rebuilt again, actually. If we, for example, look at the sacrifices provided by the Egyptian people and the Egyptian armed forces, we will be proud of their work and their persistence and their action, and their loving of their homeland. Actually, I can say that the Egyptian man became very, very different after the victory and after gaining the occupied lands. And actually, the Egyptian people started to concentrate on building their country and achieving the economic development that place their country, I mean Egypt, among the advanced countries in the region.
Yes, we'll get to that in much more detail, Dr. Farrag, the sacrifices of Egyptians, and how indeed the victory changed the Egyptian character. But I want to go back to Ramadan and victories. And when we mention victories in Ramadan, I guess the first one that would come to mind is the victory during the first victory for Islam, for Muslims.
Yes, you mean the Battle of Badr?
Of course,
during
yes.
the second Hijri year.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, of course, and always
as the Prophet, peace be upon him, was
during
was
the prophetic
yes.
era, and the first battle in Islam was the Badr battle, and actually it took place during the second Hijri year. Also, we have
17th of Ramadan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have the Tabuk battle, and also it occurred during Ramadan. If we get back to the modern
Yes.
Islamic history, all the victories achieved by the Muslim leaders happened during Ramadan. For example, the Ain Galut battle and the battle led by Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi
Yes.
against the Crusaders.
Yes.
Yeah, all these battles happened and orchestrated during the holy month of Ramadan, because as Muslims we know that it is the month of devotion and the month of work and the month of sacrifice and the month of struggle. And this provided strength to the Muslim to achieve what they would like to do, as long as it is a legitimate goal to liberate their occupied lands.
Right, and so obviously the holy month of Ramadan has a great impact on victories for Muslims and for Muslim nations. So I want to go back to the 10th of Ramadan, the 6th of October War victory, and please tell me about the impact of Ramadan on the victory, noting that many of those fighting for Egypt to liberate our occupied lands, a war that was launched for peace actually later, were non-Muslims, were actually Christians, were Christian army officers or soldiers that were standing hand in hand, united with their brothers, the Muslims within the Egyptian army.
Well, actually, if you'd like to focus on the impact of Ramadan on the Egyptian people, we should learn from the lessons. From the lessons we had after the war. Actually, one of the most important things is the national unity. I mean, and the social solidarity. The war launched by the Egyptian armed forces, and inside the army there is no differentiation between a Muslim soldier and a non-Muslim soldier, I mean the Christian, because all people had the belief that this is our country and this is our land, and we left together peacefully, and so we have to hand in hand to maintain our country and to maintain our homeland against the aggression. Actually, the higher degree of awareness between or among the Egyptian people that the political leadership was working for the sake of the Egyptian people and to maintain their higher interest. actually national unity was very, very obvious during that era. And a great work of solidarity appeared during the war, and supporting the army, for example, by the mass media and by the non-governmental organization, because there was a national goal. All people, and there was a national cause. All people actually wanted to participate, wanted to engage, wanted to do something for the sake of their country.
Right. I mean, we know that many Egyptian Coptic Christian fighters were chanting Allahu Akbar, or God is greatest, the Muslim chant during the war of the 6th of October, especially after crossing the canal in Egypt's greatest moment. And some of them fasted.
Exactly,
in solidarity
exactly, yes.
with their
yes. Muslim brothers.
Yes.
And actually, all the armed forces were chanting Allahu Akbar, whatever the person is a Muslim or a Christian. And this is found here in Egypt and not in any other place in the world. And this is the national unity, and this is the peaceful coexistence between the two, I can say, the two factions here in Egypt, the Muslims and the Christian or Coptics.
Dr. Farrag, when we talk about the impact of Ramadan on the victory, of course, there are a lot of sacrifices in Ramadan. I mean, a Muslim by nature sacrifices appetite. He doesn't eat. There are other also things that he must do. So how did, you know, fasting or Ramadan, where there's a lot of prayers, nightly prayers, and so on, you sacrifice maybe also a lot of effort, and how did that again have an impact on the victory? And tell us about some of the great sacrifices that Egyptians as a whole nation made in 73.
For example, nearly every Egyptian family had a person, who participated in this war, either a soldier or an officer,
or medic,
or a medic,
or
yes,
a volunteer,
or a volunteer.
Yeah.
Of course. So there were lots of sacrifices. Of course, the economic conditions was difficult in the country, and there were many hardships. People afforded for the sake of their country. And mainly the martyrs, of course, as long as there is a war, there will be martyrs, and the mothers and fathers of the martyrs actually provided lots of sacrifices in this regard. Impacted by the moral status of the holy month in terms of the spiritual aspect, because when you fast, you let everything, and you focus on devotion and worship. That's why the Egyptian people were able to do this unbelievable victory in the modern era.
Right. So what can we learn from it, and what can we do in this Ramadan to get benefits from that spirit, that great spirit of Ramadan 1970?
Actually, fasting represented in Ramadan month, is the month of patience.
Yeah.
persistence and struggle.
Yeah.
So we need to be patient, and we need to spread national solidarity among people, and we should be united under our political leadership, and we should work hard, actually, because through fasting we learn to struggle and to fight ourselves, actually,
Our desires.
or our desires, yes, our intentions, to control ourselves, to control our behaviors. So actually there are lots of things we can learn. If we, for example, if we deal with the current economic problems we encounter through the values we extract from Ramadan, we can say that we should lower our consumption.